Salvete! Hello everybody. Mihi nomen est Stephen. Mihi nomen est Stephen. In Anglia habito. In Anglia habito. Spero vos valere. I hope wherever you are well. Welcome to this video. Let's get straight down to it. In the last video, I introduced the word wir, masculine second declension noun, meaning man. Let's just practice together how we decline that. All right? So let's go down, singular, then plural. We have wir, wirum, wiri, wiro, wiro. Wir, wirum, accusative, wiri, wiro, wiro. Plural. Wiri, wiros, wirorum, wiris, wiris. Wiri, wiros, wirorum, wiris, wiris. Singular, then plural. Wir, wirum, wiri, wiro, wiro. Wiri, wiros, wirorum, wiris, wiris. One more time. Singular, then plural. Wir, wirum, wiri, wiro, wiro. Wiri, wiros, wirorum, wiris, wiris. Let's just test you. Which would be the correct form? If I was saying, I know the man. Don't need to translate the whole thing. Which would be the correct form of man? I know the man. Who's knowing? I am, subject, nominative. The man, direct object, accusative. Therefore, virum. Just like dominum, servum. So they all have these masculine second declensions, have this accusative singular. They are walking with the men, alongside the men. With the men. With, that's cum, isn't it, which takes the ablative case. Plural, cum viris, with the men. Cum viris. I give the present to the man. I give the present to the man. The present's the direct object. I give, do. Alright, we even know the word, don't we? Donum. Donum. To the man, that's indirect object. Dative case, wiro. Wiro. To the man. Donum. Do. Wiro. Donum. Do. If you're not quite sure about your datives, there is a lesson on that in the first unit. Maybe check that one out just to revise what we mean by dative. What about the man's toga? The man's toga. Toga. Which one? Wiri. Genitive. Of the. Belonging to. Wiri. Toga. Toga. Wiri. If it were more than one man, togai, plural, the togas. Toga. Virorum. Toga virorum. Alright? I praise the men. Very honourable. I praise the men. Laudo. Who's praising? I am. Ego. Nominative case, the subject. Whom am I praising? The men. Direct object, hence accusative. Plural. Viros. Viros laudo. Viros laudo. I want to show you something neat now that I really like about Latin. If we want to join words together, and we learned the word et. So, for instance, the father, pater, and the son, et filius. Pater et filius. That's fine. There's another way of doing it, a slightly neater way of doing it, using three letters, Q-U-E, which is que. Que. Technically it's called an enclitic, like a little particle. And what it does, it attaches itself to the end of the second item. In this case, father and son, it will be on the end of the son. But you don't need the et anymore, because the que does the job. And so, if we have a look on here, second board, pater, filios que. So this is attached or appended to the second word. And it means and son, and the son. Pater, filios que. Pater et filios, fine. Pater filiosque, also fine. What about mother and daughter? Mater, long A. Short, pater, mater. Mater et filia. Fine. Mater filiaque. Filiaque. So it just attaches itself to the end of the second word where you want the and. And the other thing to note about this, we're told in the grammar books that the stress goes on the syllable immediately after the que. So us there. Normally it's just filius, but filiusque. Filia, normally filiaque. Filiaque. The slave and the slave girl. The slave and the slave girl using que would be servus ancillaque. Servus et ancilla, fine. Servus ancillaque. Pluralize it. The slaves, masculine plural. And the slave girls are in the house. The slaves and the slave girls sunt in the house. Servi, anche, can't be ancilla, that's singular. Nominative plural, ancillaique. Servi, ancillaique, sunt in villa sunt. Servi with an I, English I on the end, nominative plural. Servi, just like this one, witty, yeah? Servi, ancillaique, sunt in villa. What about the matron? The matron and the girl are sitting, using sedere, in the garden. The matron and the girl are sitting in the garden. Challenging you now, guys. Challenging you. Pause if you need to. The matron and the girl, matrona, puellaque, all one word that, puellaque, are sitting, sed, plural, ent, ent, sedent, in horto, or perhaps a little more natural, matrona, puellaque, in horto, sedent. Matrona, puellaque, in horto, sedent. Let's take the master. The master and the friend, or his friend, are standing this time, not sedent. Standing, it starts the same, stare, in the tavern, in the inn. The master and his friend are standing in the tavern. Dominus, amicus, remember that one? Amicusque. Dominus amicusque in taberna sta. Did you get the verb? Stant. Has to be nt because it's they, plural, third person plural. Stant. We had sedent. Stant. Dominus amicusque in taberna stant. Let's just quickly revise those two verbs. So the first one, sedere, is a second conjugation. Let's go through the different persons. I, sedeo, sedes, sedet. Sedeo, sedes, sedet, plural. Sedemus, sedetis, sedent, they. In this case it was the matron and the girl, so sedent, they. Sedeo, sedes, sedet. Sedemus, sedetis, sedent. Now let's take stare, first conjugation, are. Sto, I stand. Stas, you, stat. Sto, stas, stat. Stamus, we. Statis, stant, they. Master and friend, stant. Sto, stas, stat. Stamus, statis, stant. Sto, stas, stat. Stamus, we. Statis, you, stant. And the verb that goes just like that is dare. Remember that? Do, das, dat, to give. Dare and stare. Right, very good. The interesting thing is you can also use it with verbs or joining parts of the sentence together. So not only just a noun like that. So for instance, what's I see? I see. Video, right? Video. I watch a video. Video. I see my friend and greet him. Or I see and greet my friend. I see and greet my friend. Put the friend at the start. Accusative. Amicum. Amicum video. Now we could say et saluto. I greet. Amicum video et saluto. I don't need to repeat the amicum because it's clear with the accusative we're talking about the same person. But we could say amicum video salutoque. One word. Salutoque. Amicum video salutoque. I see and greet my friend. Amicum video et saluto. What about the master sees the slave and praises the slave? But we don't need to repeat the slave. So the master, the slave, accusative, sees and praises. The master, the slave, accusative, sees and praises, is how you'd say it. Dominus. Servum, accusative, servum. Videt, laudatque, and praises, laudatque. Et laudat, fine. Laudatque. Laudatque. Dominus, let's make him kind. Benignus. Dominus benignus. Dominus benignus. Servum. Videt, laudatque. Let's give a characteristic to the slave. What about the honest, the good-natured slave? Remember the adjective for that begins with pro? Probus, probity. All right? So, the kind master, Dominus benignus, sees and praises the good-natured, the kind slave. And both aspects, noun and adjective, will go in the accusative. Dominus benignus. Servum probum. Servum probum. Videt laudatque. Dominus benignus. Servum probum. Videt laudatque. So, there you go. Pater filiusque, mater filiaque. It's nice, isn't it? Try making little sentences of your own and try using that. Right, next thing on our lesson today, a couple of things to cover. We've met this word, ubi. Do you remember, as a question, ubi est, where is? Ubi est filius, where's my son? Ubi est matrona, where is the matron? Well, believe it or not, ubi can also mean when. I talked about Latin recycling words to use them in different contexts with different meanings. It can mean when, not as a question, but as a joining word. When this happens, that happens. When I come into the house, I do this. When so-and-so sees me, that kind of joining situation. All right, so it can mean ubi. It will be clear from the context what it means. So, for instance, if we take the matron, and we want to say when the matron enters the kitchen, she does something else. The when, we can use ubi. Ubi matrona, but probably more common in Latin is to put the subject first, actually. In English, we'd start with the when, wouldn't we? But you can do. Ubi matrona, culinam intrat from intrare. But matrona, because she's who the sentence is about, matrona ubi, the matron when, matrona ubi culinam intrat. Matrona ubi culinam intrat. Sees the slave girls, plural. The matron, when she enters the kitchen, sees the slave girls. Matrona ubi culinam intrat. Ancillas videt. Matrona ubi culinam intrat. Ancillas videt. Let's add another activity using que and greets them. But we don't even need to put the word for them in, actually. Because we've got ancillas videt salutatque. greets and greets. So matrona obi kulinam intrat, ankillas videt salutatque. Videt et salutat, fine. Videt salutatque. Matrona obi kulinam intrat, ankillas videt salutatque. Let's reverse it. When the slave girls see the matron in the house, when the slave girls see the matron in the house in villa, obi ankillai, or ankillai, nominative plural. So remember the table, puella, and then we start the plural at the top with puellai, puellai, puellas. Ankillai, they're doing the action, nominative plural. Ankillai. Obi, who they seeing? Oh, the matron, accusative. Obi matronam, in villa, when they see her, vident, nt. Ankillai, obi matronam, in villa, vident. We need something more. We say when they see her, what's the sentence going to end with? Prepare dinner. They prepare dinner. Kena. Prepare. Parare. Paro, paras, parat. Paramos, paratis, parant. Paro, paras, parat. Paramos, paratis, parant. They prepare dinner. Kenam, accusative. Parant. Kenam, parant. Ankillai. Obi, when? Matronam in villa vident. Kenam, parant. Ankillai obi matronam in villa vident. Kenam, parant. What about when the master enters the house? Let's just do that bit. Obi dominus villam intrat, or dominus, because that's who we're talking about, so we'll start with him. Dominus obi when villam intrat, dominus obi villam intrat, he sees the matron. Matronam, accusative, videt. Dominus obi villam intrat. Matronam, in the atrium. In atrio, videt. And he expects the dinner. Typical. Now we could say et canam expectat, or canamque expectat. So we've joined the second part of the sentence, the clause, if you will, using the que. Let's go back. The master, when he enters the house, sees the matron in the atrium and expects dinner. Dominus ubi villam intrat. Matronam in atrio videt cenamque expectat. Dominus ubi villam intrat. Matronam in atrio videt cenamque expectat. Well done if you're getting these. I hope it's making sense to you. Maybe go back over them, pause and try it again. Can I just make one point as well? Do remember, I've said before, with entrare, to enter, whatever you're entering, that's an accusative. Alright, it's seen as an object. Let's just practice that verb, intrare. Take off the are, intra. Intro, intras, intrat. Intramus, intratis, intrant. Intro, I enter. Intras, you, he, she, intrat. Intramus, intratis, intrant. I enter the arena, arenam, accusative, intro. We enter the tavern, tabernam, intramus. All right, very good. So we've got que for joining parts of the sentence. We've got ubi for making longer sentences using when. My challenge for you is to maybe have a go at making some sentences of your own. Simple ones, just using the vocabulary we've covered so far, the verbs we've covered so far, and try to construct some sentences like I did. And if you like, write them in the comments, and I'll have a look and I'll give you feedback. I'll tell you if it's correct or not. Try it, all right? You could just do something like, when the father enters the garden, he sees the sun, or something like that. Yeah. The last thing was just a little bit of revision, really, of personal pronouns in the accusative. These are quite important. So, him, I see him, I know him, I love him, is eum. It even keeps the M sound like the English. Him, eum. Her, I know her, I love her, eam. Eam. Them, eos, if they're all male or mixed, generic. Eas, if they're specifically all female. Persons or feminine nouns. Yeah, it does not necessarily have to be a person, because remember, all nouns in Latin have grammatical gender. So this could also appropriate. It could not appropriate. It could mean it. Actually, if I were talking about the book, I have it because it's masculine, liber. You'd say eum habeo. All right, and the dictionary will give you the genders. So let's just make a few sentences before we wrap up. I see him. I see him. So maybe someone said, "Where's Marcus? Ubi est Marcus? Ubi est Marcus? I see him. Eum video in the garden, in horto. Eum Marcum, but eum in horto video. I praise her. Someone said something like, your daughter is so diligent. Your daughter is so diligent. The philia. Yes, I know. I praise her. I praise her every day. Eam, feminine. Eam laudo. Every day quotidie. Eam quotidie laudo. Mea filia, my daughter. Yes. Eam quotidie laudo. What about we love them? We love them, and it's mixed gender. Using the verb amare. Amo, amas, amat. Amamos. Eos amamos. Eos amamos. We don't love them. Eos non. N-O-N. Non amamos. Eos amamos. Eos non amamos. What about, we could use our que here if we want to be clever. We love them and praise. We love and praise them. We love and praise them. Put the them first. Eos. Eos amamos. We could say et laudamos, or a new way is laudamosque. Eos amamos, laudamosque. Eos amamos, laudamosque. Let's introduce a few nouns. The boy calls her. Who are we talking about? I don't know. Maybe Cornelia. Ubi est Cornelia? Cornelia est in we are. Cornelia is in the street. The boy calls her, or is calling her. Puer, nominative. Puer. Eam. Eam. To call with your vox, your voice. Vocat, vocare. So, puer, the boy. Eam, vocat. Eam, her. Puer, eam, vocat. What about, we're talking about the girls now. The girls are in the garden. Puellae sunt in horto. The boys call them. The boys call them. Pueri, masculine, plural. Pueri. Eas vocant. Pueri, eas vocant. We're talking about the matron, and she's a very honest and good-natured matron. She is proba, and she's kind, benigna. Matrona proba benignaque. Matrona proba benignaque. And the man loves her. The man loves her. Who's loving? The man, nominative. We're eam amat. We're eam amat. Actually, there are more than there's more than one man. There are multiple men, and they all love her because she's so benigna and proper. Witty, witty. Am, amant, A-M-A-N-T, amant. Witty, plural. Am, amant. But the matron doesn't love them. The matron doesn't love them. Said Matrona. The men, so Eos known amat. T ending for third person singular, he, she. Said Matrona, Eos non amat. Alright. Wiri, the men. Am, her, amant. Wiri am amant. Said Matrona, Eos non amat. Right, guys. Very, very good. So that's just a little bit of revision. Eum, or eam, him, her, or possibly it, if it's just referring to a singular noun with a masculine or feminine gender. And eos, eas, for them. I hope that's been useful. I hope you enjoyed this video. A few new bits and pieces there. Keep practicing, and I will be back very soon with the next video. We're coming to the end of this unit, but I'm very much intending to introduce a third unit as well, building on what we've learned so far very, very soon. So I shall say, gratias ago, I thank you, gratias vobis ago, et valete. Take care, see you soon.